Welcome to Full Disclosure, and as I'm about to turn 40, I really hope the only thing getting hiked right now is my belt line.
Hey, but you're turning 40, which means, you're still young for the mortgage industry.
Poo, poo, poo. Yep, that's right. That's right.
Well, speaking of the mortgage industry, we always start Full Disclosure with our mortgage industry vibe check. So we'll don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So what is the vibe in the mortgage industry right now? How are things feeling?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like that's kind of the vibe, right? It's like, our rate's going up. I don't know. Volume seems okay. We're kind of, I think our volume's up a little from where it was at like April or May. So it's humming. I mean, it's all over again. It's like the thing I kept saying. If like you find a way to make money in this industry, you're staying in it, and like the people still there have done that. If not, you're out. And like we talked about, M&A activity is not slowing down. I don't think it'll
No.
slow down anytime soon. You're either a buyer or you're a seller right now.
Yeah. And I think too, I saw a headline that was basically just like, people have just decided we're just going to buy the house, right? Like, you're not going to wait for rates to be perfect, because if you do, you're never going to own a home at this point.
Inventory is at a post-pandemic high right now, although there's pockets that are still competitive, like where we live in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really stopping. And also, I was talking to someone about this, explaining what LodeStar does. Even at a 6% interest rate right now, cheaper than credit card debt, cheaper than consumer loans, cheaper than auto loans. Like, valuing your home is a really important way of consolidating debt. So all of these things still exist, and that's still happening. Maybe not as fast as the industry would like, but I think also where we get in trouble is when things are changing, right? Someone was asking me, where is the industry compared to when I started working with my business coach about 4 years ago, when I pulled up the interest rates and we were at the exact same point.
Yeah.
Right. But the problem is, at that point a few years ago, it was going like that.
Yeah.
Right. So because it was changing, increasing so much, that was right. We've since been on effectively level ground, which is fine. I'd rather do that. Hold on level ground, but when things are declining, that's when you get into trouble. So,
yeah.
What projections do you guys have for the fall? What kind of things will you be watching as, the industry sort of wakes up again? It's always stereotypically supposed to be slow during the summer. So what are we thinking of going into the busier season?
I mean, volume should be high during the summer, and it's mid-high. Right now, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, if you could actually take the fortune ball, and what's going to happen, then like we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
But
the fortune ball.
We probably would still be working if we have a fortune ball.
Oh, I'd still be working, but
Trademark.
I don't know what it's magic ball.
Magic 8 ball. Yeah.
No, its official name is now Fortune Ball.
I tried really hard to figure out what it was.
Nothing else.
Okay, perfect. Just gonna see myself out. But I really think that people are going to do what they're going to do, regardless of the market, right? I think people have kind of accepted that chaos and uncertainty is kind of our new normal. And that's okay, right? But I think the consumers have become more comfortable with that and are willing to make purchase decisions in that market. And that's what actually matters for our industry, right? Because we saw a huge kind of even purchases in terms of a vendor, right? We saw a huge downtick at the beginning of the year with the war starting and all of that. There was just no one really wanted to commit to something. And we've kind of seen that kind of shy away, and we've had a busier summer than we normally would have. I think in part, like, okay, that happened. We're just going to keep moving.
Yeah. Well, it's also interesting, another dynamic we're seeing across all industries, but especially in mortgages. AI has turned anyone into a developer. So the number of new software technologies or lenders developing their own software is rampant. I've never seen this many new mortgage tech companies just springing up, right? And none of them ever want to touch fees, but they love to use our fees. So we're working with a lot of them. We're supporting a lot of them. It's very interesting to see kind of what changes, what will work, what won't work, who will make it. I can tell you, running a mortgage technology company for 13 years, sure, big software is expensive. That's not the hardest part of building and running a company. It's not. It's getting folks to sign, getting them set up, finding that value in the industry, continuing to nurture that relationship, individually signing 200 plus clients, like all of those things take time, and very few of that AI can really help you. And sure, it's cheaper to build code, but it's also cheaper for everyone. If you can build something in half a day, so can anyone else. So
Yeah.
that's my AI tech soapbox right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see, there's the AI Summit, Housing Wire is hosting in August. Tacked onto that, TNC is hosting an AI underwriting challenge, which I think is going to be really cool. Sadly, as vendors, we're not allowed to go, but I get it. But it's going to be really cool to kind of see feedback from that and see how the industry reacts. They're putting underwriting AI underwriters head to head to have them underwrite the same loan. And time them and make sure it's valid and all of that. So it's going to be really interesting, along with they have an LOS Alley. And I'm kind of interested to see how many LOSs there are. I don't think they've announced them yet, but I'm interested to see the number of vendors in that space as well. Just because we've seen a lot more recently, and I'm interested who's ready for market for that, and what we kind of see out of digital and annual in the fall. I think we're going to see a lot of new spaces in the next year in the vendor space.
100%. Right.
Well, you said something in the last segment, in our vibe check segment, about chaos, uncertainty being the new normal. So to kick off the LodeStar SettleWise update segment, what does it look like being us, a mortgage tech company, title company, when chaos and uncertainty are the new normal?
I think they've been our new normal for a while. Not in terms of like business continuity, but in terms of how we make new ideas happen. So like, I feel like we're comfortable there.
Yeah, I don't think in like the 13 years I've run this business, there's never been a time I felt there wasn't chaos. Right. And I think it's much more to do with my personality than anything else. But they always say, like a CEO, you're either really good during wartime or peacetime. Right. And like wartime and many things are a lot easier in wartime because setting the vision for the company is easy to survive. Right. And then when you get to peacetime, it gets a little more difficult because competing priorities, that's when you're building culture. That's when, people have more options. You want to see the vision for the company, all of those things. And we've, as LodeStar transitioned to peacetime, I would say a few years back, probably like 2022, 2023. Right. So, SettleWise being a new company, I basically opted into wartime, right? I want to keep the chaos. I want to keep that. That's where I thrive. Right. So, I always consider their chaos and change, and that's a good thing. Change and chaos, those all mean opportunity, right? We want all of those things to continue to happen, is I would say almost as much as possible, but within reason, right?
Yeah.
Because it's tough when there's a global event completely out of your control, like the pandemic, like the war in Iran. Like those are the things that affect you and like become, an issue. I remember I talked with my wife a lot. She works at a high school, and she said, like, you don't remember what it's like to have a boss, right? Which is true. I've tried very hard not to have a boss, but at one point, this was in like 2021, 2022, she's like, is there ever anything that like affects your job that's actually out of your control? And literally, as we were having dinner talking about it, the nightly news was on, and I said, interest rates now go up 0.5%. And I just pointed to the TV and I said, yeah, that. So I'm on a tangent, but
yeah, no, I think that's always the weird thing is like I've recently had a few realizations of like, oh yeah, the global economy really affects us as a business and like affects our sales goals. It affects, how customers interact with us, especially prospects, right? Because when you're already established with a lender, there's no risk, right? They're just continuing to use you, and as long as you provide good service and all that. But when you're talking to someone and trying to convince them to spend money to implement a new technology, war has an impact on that when you're not expecting it, right? And it's interesting to be like, oh, that wasn't something I considered would have an impact of like gas prices raising, interest rates.
I remember I was doing sales calls for the LodeStar. That was the day after the 2016 election. And I called someone who I've been calling on a while, and a title agent, and he was like, well, it's not a good time because of politics. Now, like part of me was like, what the hell is wrong with you? But like, I understand the mental aspect of it. Right. Of like, if you're struck with a lot of uncertainty, you're not going to make commitments. You're not going to spend money. They say like the confused don't buy. Probably the, nervous and scared don't really buy either. Right. Or, they buy certain things, I guess. But yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think this is technically a LodeStar update.
Yes,
So
transition.
we really got off there.
Yeah.
I hit you with the hard-hitting question first. It's always what's new, softball starters.
You
No,
know,
this was good.
but I think honestly, what's new is the amount of people we've had signing up. We offer a free API for tech vendors that are
Yeah.
looking to get a start with fees up to 2,000 quotes a month, and not to be a sales pitch, but more so the context of like we've been talking to more and more and more tech vendors, and I think that's the big thing is like
Yeah.
how building out that partnership program, that referral program, and all of that.
Last segment, you were talking about some of the like investor conferences and things in the industry. I remember I went to one last year where there were 5 companies presenting. 4 of them were using our data. 1 was a client, and other 3 were integrated with our data. Right? There's so much that can be built in the industry, and all of it needs fees. Right? So we're very much trying to power all of that going forward.
Yeah. So that's I think a
Yeah.
big focus for us right now is just kind of being your vendor's favorite vendor.
Yeah. I like that.
You know, to quote the great Chapel Room.
I'll just say it's taking everything in me right now not to say fee maxing, and I because I'm just there. It's out in the world now, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
Fee maxing has been my big thing lately. So price fee max. So,
well, speaking of things that capture Jim's imagination and arrest his attention, we can go right now into Jim's book club.
I did have one more thing for our segment if we had time. I remember what I was going to say if we want to add this to the LodeStar update. Update. We're back on. Well, I think one thing I've realized, and I feel this way organizationally, like I don't want to say we've turned the corner on AI, but I think we've gotten more buy-in from not just AI, but process improvement, because as a company, we're seeing the results, right? Like we have a company goal to basically improve our productivity the way we measure it by 33%, right? I think we're at 49% improvement, right? So we're tracking well ahead of that, partially because of AI, also just because of the way we're looking at our processes. And like, it's no one single thing. We don't have like a LodeStar bot doing everything, but we use it in so many targeted ways, from a feature that uses AI, from utilizing AI so we don't spend hours comparing lists of title agents, right? Like it's I don't think infiltrated is the right word, but it's basically like filtered into the organization. So everyone is using it in some capacity to increase their productivity in a way that's hopefully organic to what we're doing. So that's the way I feel. That it's just like we were having a call with a vendor about how we use AI, and we went over time because we were like, there were just too many things to list about the way it was being used. And that's not saying we're an AI first company or an agentic company or anything like that. We're just using it as a tool and focusing on what it's good at. Right.
Well, and I think the bigger piece is how is it freeing up time for people to, you know, you mentioned the title agent tool, you know, our sales team, Mike Hughes, goes and, you know, compares title agent lists for incoming prospects, right? And we're talking, you know, there could be hundreds of title agents on that list. And now he, instead of spending 3 hours doing that, he now can spend 3 minutes doing it, right? And he can get the same results at a lender, and he can get more time to spend with prospects, with clients.
That kind of high touch client.
That high touch client, right? And I think that's really how we're using AI across the organization and CS and all of that. And like for other people, it doesn't mean talking to people, right? It might mean developing better. It might be that, but
working on your process, right? Or we've implemented better automated testing on our end, things like that. So there's a lot of work you can do on the business if you're able to get the other stuff down. So I think people are starting to see under the benefit and the results of that. So that's been really exciting because there's definitely a fatigue. Like it's definitely, you know, a thing that you're kind of fighting. So I think we're at a point where we've implemented it in a way that is helpful and also like, you know, not a problem, I guess.
Yeah, knowing where to use it is really important. It's funny. I'm one of the like probably least heavy users of AI in the company in terms of some of the huge productivity lifts that other people, you know, on the product team. And yet you're seeing that like what I do here in content marketing touches like visual arts in some ways. You know, there are still ways in which AI is very helpful. It's a very big no-no for visual artists to use AI in their work. And I think the handmade thing is great, but also having more time to draw is a good thing.
Right. Well, I was going to say you're in an area that probably it lends itself to AI more than a lot of other things, right? Like,
sure. Yeah. I mean, like if I can have a spreadsheet formatted or something like that, so I have more time to do tailored for mortgages or our data reports or whatever, all the better.
Yeah. Or even like, if we have to change an email on a flyer, you can do that in AI now, right? Or something like that. That's not design work necessarily, but it would have taken one of our people.
Yeah. Instead of having, our things made by somebody, we're saying, okay, well, this is just, we're going to train a bot to do this. It's repetitive. It's boring. It's not the type of work that people want to be doing. Right. And getting people to do more fun things for their job.
Yeah. And I'll only throw myself under the bus here, but like when it comes to some of that mundane work, AI is like more consistent than me in terms of sometimes I miss things, like I'll put a comma on the wrong spot or I'll put the wrong email address and it just doesn't make the same kind of mistakes. So it's a no-brainer, I think.
Awesome. Jim's book club.
Yeah, I know. I tried my best at a segue. So I feel like I'm like, what are you reading, Jim? Just say it. No, but that's that. We can do better than that. So Jim, what are you reading? I'll say it nicely.
Well, thank you for asking. Okay. So this month's book, it's called The Octopus Organization. I read the Harvard Business Review. It was recommended in there. It's kind of like the whale book in that, like, I've learned a lot about an octopus, how an octopus works. But basically, like as an organization, they basically put them into two types. You could be a Tin Man organization, rigid and flexible, or an octopus organization, which is adapting and flexible, right? An octopus, a lot of its neurons are actually in its tentacles, right? So it can think by touching, right? It adapts to its environment. It can change color. So it's just an idea of being like incredibly adaptive as an organization. And they talk about ways of doing that, of I think they over 36 different items of like what a Tin Man organization does versus an octopus organization. Like, having too many meetings, overcomplicating the mission, centralizing decision-making opposed to decentralizing decision-making for people. Like organizational change initiatives are like a big no-no, right? Opposed to like, it's the whole gist of the book is like smaller, faster change in testing and trying to figure things out. Right. Opposed to like little rigid systems. So it's been interesting as we grow, like getting some of those takeaways, learning more about that. So that was the book I just finished, and I thought it was a pretty good read. I would recommend it.
And we're big fans of octopuses here.
Yeah, well, sea creatures. Yeah.
Tim, if you want to show off your water bottle,
I guess I should show off my water bottle.
You should show off your water bottle in this moment. We've got stickers coming out here.
Yeah.
In the near future.
But it looks like they're being censored because they're profane or something, but it's just the background. They're most certainly not.
But yeah, we're excited we're doing new fun things. Speaking of art.
Yeah, we have all the time. And if you're going to be an MBA in the fall, maybe don't miss that if you're a stickers person.
Yeah, I mean,
my 4-year-old won't be there, but she is a stickers person.
I was thinking, like, is the venue going to end up with like stickers all over?
I mean, we're actually mailing them to people is what's actually happening. So if you are on our target list and you are registered with the MBA, you're going to get physical mail from us.
It's a heavy sticker day. I couldn't bring my girls to school until and took out stickers that she got from swim class and put them in her sticker book.
As she should.
It's a notebook, her sticker book. Yeah, it's a big deal.
And kids are famously very quick and efficient about things they need to do before you go a place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great. So
yeah,
I was not impatient about it at all.
It's okay. Every time I think about stickers, I think about the one time Jim was like, I need something on your calendar. This meeting is called stickers, so I'm going to move that meeting. He's like, I'm going to look over that. Sure.
You talked about how like geopolitics affect our jobs, and like I got back from vacation today to see these stickers that had arrived in the mail, and like thinking about the Iran war and how it like destabilizes things and like the rates and everything. I'm like, wow, I'm looking at a box of stickers. Like this is so like the layers from the
cognitive dissonance.
I know. Well, speaking of things that frustrate you and can drive you crazy, we will go right ahead into our fourth and final segment of the full disclosure.
I usually don't tell you what I'm going to say, but this stuff. So
you want me to go first? Absolutely.
Jim is ready He's so ready for what grinds my
That's fine. I
gears.
think we can riff off of this one. So this is something you see a lot more in the summer, and what grinds my gears is when people post about their vacations on LinkedIn. This is a sample that I came up with of renew, reset, recharge. Sometimes the best way to get ahead is to take a step back. I was away for a week at the Jersey Shore, and building a sandcastle with my daughter taught me everything about B2B sales, right? So it's like something, it's just like over stylized, pulled into this, and like,
Probably created ChatGPT.
here's the thing, like it's one, I want people to take vacations, right? Absolutely. I get that people like put about personal things on social media on LinkedIn. There's a value to that. But what I think the problem is I don't think it's normalizing taking vacations, right? Like I think it's blurring the line between time off and business. If you then feel like you have to think about it, post while you're on vacation, any of that. I was on vacation last week. I didn't freaking post about it, right? Like I don't think it's helping normalize that. Like, people can just be on vacation. Yeah, that's totally fine. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that accomplishes that if you're then turning your vacation into a business related post. So that's kind of what grinds my gears about it. And some of them are like really corny, like the one I made up too. Like that's not like that unrealistic for what like some of these.
I was like, I have a big question. As I feel like I do this on weeks that I don't have a thirsty Thursday and I'm on vacation. I have definitely posted a selfie of myself being like, I'm on vacation this week, no thirsty Thursday. Is that allowed?
Yes, because you're not like turning it into like a business. It's like a out of office message.
Yeah, basically.
And like, how long does it take for you to do that? It's different. And the example I gave was like turning the vacation into a business purpose.
Oh yeah.
Right. Of like, this is what my vacation, this is how I justify my vacation. And that's it. Like it's feeling like it has to be justified. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And I think when you post that, you're not justifying your vacation. You're just, you have a cadence you stick to.
I'm just saying, hey, like, no, don't expect anything this week.
I'm out. Right. Yeah.
That's, yeah.
So like I think that's, in talking about it, you shouldn't have to justify your vacation. And I think having to post about taking a vacation feels like to justify a purpose of it, right? Like I took a vacation. I didn't really learn that much about B2B sales.
What did it teach you about running a business though?
But it's a lot easier than being with toddlers on the beach. So, and I dragging the damn wagon through the sand and rotating the button what we're doing now. So,
yeah, no, I think I agree with that. I think it's tough too, especially this is gonna give me my grinds my gears. Is like if you're an executive too, it can kind of feel like showing off, depending on how you do it. I've been in some scenarios and I've seen some people do this where it's like, I'm going to go to Italy and post all about it. Yeah. And it's like, and then if you know the back end of the organization in any way, like we've had things where people are like, oh, I'm not going to be at that meeting because I'm going to be on a yacht, but my team will be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't feel great.
It's a little showboaty.
Right. Well, I'm part of, right.
Like I'm just in Tuscany here. This wine, it's artisanal.
Yeah. So just, perception is everything. is a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a rallying cry for authenticity too in both of yours, because when you're posting about like what I learned about B2B sales, building a sandcastle with my daughter, like that is ever so slightly more ridiculous than real life, but only slightly. Right.
I want to be clear. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to learn nothing about my job.
Yeah.
I snorkeled, ran into an octopus as a person who draws an octopus partially for a living. I learned nothing. They were in no way related or connected. I think the authenticity is really important, and it erodes like trust in somebody if you're like, oh, here's my showboaty vacation post, because it's like, I don't know, like everybody knows that's inauthentic. Everybody knows that's contrived, and everything else you say after the fact is going to have that that little shadow over it. So maybe just don't.
maybe just don't.
Yeah.
That's I think that's my grind. That's my addition that grinds my gears. I don't know that I have another huge one, other than the fact that I just keep getting at cafes. People just keep giving me whole milk instead of oat milk, and it's really not fun.
I have what do we call the opposite of gears grinding?
Oh, I forget. It was last month. We were super positive and like
building. Yeah. like lubricating your gears, a couple ones that. And I posted about this before. I've talked about this before, but one of like the weeks that I irrationally love every year is coming up. Shark. And like, I like, it's weird. I think what it is like, it's always in like the deep part of summer. So that's what I think of Shark Week. I think of, yeah, I know the World Cup's over. I'm sad. Like, this is like
Shark Week is sports.
Shark Week's here, right? Like, so it's starting, I think, Sunday. I love Shark Week. I think I just love because it's summer. I also love that like every episode is like a convoluted reason for them to just like get sharks to fight things, right? They're like, oh, there was a swimmer attacked here at like beyond Bondi Beach in Sydney, so we have to get our Sharkmaster 3000 and see if we can replicate this. And they get some like dummy thing that they're towing behind a boat, like lubed up with steel fat. It's 10 out of 10 here for Shark Week. Or like prehistoric sharks, or did sharks come from space? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I love it. I'm here for Shark Week every year. Maybe I'll watch an hour or so of shark footage, maybe a little bit more this year.
It is pretty goofy. I'm here for some Megalodon core. There was one year where they had like this thing on Shark Week where they were like quite literally baiting you, the audience, like you were one of the sharks. Like, all right, we're going to have a race between a great white shark and Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps or something like that. And they were building it up and you're like, okay, this is going to be like, and I remember I didn't have cable at the time. I was poor. So I went to the gym when I would like just go on the elliptical. I went like to the gym like every day that week. It was a lot more than usual. And at the end, it was a digital simulation.
Yeah.
I was like, but they didn't say that it wouldn't be real. I was like, I've never felt,
more misled.
I don't know, this was probably done at the 70s when like animal rights were like not as much of a thing, but there was like a dog racing track and they got a cheetah there. So like they had the cheetah loaded it, the race started, cheetah didn't, like just sat there, didn't run. And then like there's a picture around it. There's like, when you're the best, you don't need to prove it, right? Like it's a thing. It's out there. I'll send it to you after this. Like it made me think of that particular point of like, no, like I'm just gonna eat Michael Phelps. Like, of course, a great white's gonna be faster too. Like, come on.
I was really waiting for like a dog massacre to come out of the cheetah story. I want to be clear.
That's kind of where I saw that going too.
I mean, maybe that happened after, but it was just like that.
Also, it's just such typical cat behavior to be like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do.
Yeah. I'm not going to dance for you.
I don't need that. Anyways.
For more hard-hitting things on the mortgage industry,